This is Greg, KE4MU, Asheville, North Carolina. I received a Pi Repeater 2X that I ordered from ICS Controllers. It is a 2-port repeater controller based on a Raspberry Pi. The unit that I ordered was the completely assembled unit. It comes with the Raspberry Pi installed, the Pi Repeater 2X board, and a small power supply that is fed out to a 12-volt connection on the back right. Taped to the side, they even provide the fitting necessary to supply the 12 volts to the unit. It comes in a nice sturdy case and is a complete ready out of the box unit to use. You do have to make your own cables to go to your repeater systems. This particular unit here I will be using with a Motorola GR1225 UHF repeater that I had coordinated for the Asheville area. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. The unit has the 12 volt to a 5 volt 3 amp power supply mounted in the very back of it. On the left hand side, you can see there is the Pi 2X repeater board. All of the cabling is done nice and neat. Over on the right hand side, you have the Raspberry Pi 3B mounted. One of the things that I did do with this particular unit is I ordered a set of the heat sinks with the thermal tape and applied them carefully to the Raspberry Pi to help with some heat dissipation inside the unit. The unit does not have any type of cooling fans inside the unit. It may not even be necessary, but as cheap as the heat sinks are, I thought that might be a good addition. The unit also, if a person found out that they needed some air circulation in there, with this flat lid, a person could probably surface mount a 12 volt equipment fan on here and put a couple of vent holes on the other side to circulate air through the repeater controller if it looks like in the future that might be necessary. At this point in time, all I'm going to do is just stay with the heat sinks till we see how everything works. Overall, the shipping on this unit from ICS Controllers was outstanding. I think from the day I ordered it, I had it in the mail about 3 days later. It came by U.S. priority mail. Was very well packaged. Just looking at the unit, it is nicely marked. The cutouts for everything are nice and snug. It's going to be nice to see how this particular Pi Repeater 2X controller works once we've got it hooked up to the repeater. Next step I've got to do at this point in time is to build the physical cable to go from port 1 of the controller and interface with the GR1225 repeater. Fighting and fussing with the DB9 connector. I finally got the cable made to go between the Pi repeater 2X and the GR1225 repeater. There's only 5 wires actually, or 5 pins actually being used on the repeater, and I will put the pin out up in a few minutes in the video where you can see the actual pin out. I came out of the DB9 into the shielded Cat 6, then around, and went into the wiring for the connector that came with the connector. Kept it very short, some solder joints, real small, neatly, with some heat shrink, and then I took the shield that was left and put back over all of those small wires, and then slid some bigger heat shrink up on top of it to seal everything in nice and neat. I got the repeater set in place, and cable coming out of the repeater that I built up going to port 1 on the Pi repeater 2X for the power supply to feed the Pi repeater 2X. I took the cable inside of the repeater and took 12 volts right off of the same power supply that feeds the repeater. Okay, I've logged into the repeater controller software by Open Repeater. When you're first logged in, it gives you basically the heart of your system and your various settings. Then you've got a tab for general settings, which is where you'll put your call sign and your transmit tell, your timeout, where you can enable or disable DTMF access, and your CTCSS settings, though I do not use them in the open software itself. I use it directly in the repeater settings. Then you have your identification. You've got your timing on your short ID, and then you have your custom for your long, which I chose to put one in that has the call sign, location, and the PL tone, just mainly because it's a new repeater and people stumbling across may not know the PL tone for the repeater because it's so new. And doing the recordings for your own message is real easy. I used a digital pocket tape recorder and did my message and moved it to my desktop, and then just used the upload and upload the file. That gives you 60 seconds for your announcement, and at the end of it you can put your time and also append your Morse code ID. And it gives you a choice at the bottom for your global Morse ID settings. You have numerous choices for your courtesy tones to choose. You've got several modules. One's a parrot module, which it'll play back everything the repeater controller hears. It's real good for testing purposes and setting audio levels. And then you have Echo Link module, which is built into it, which I have it activated. Then you can go down to your interface, and that's your port settings for the repeater controller. You have a repeater log, which shows you when it's turning on and turning off the transmitter and what it's and the reason it's doing it, like sending a short identification. Or up here, like at 1841 today, Echo Link, there was somebody that connected via Echo Link from North Virginia. Then you go down, you got your DMT reference, which gives you all your DMTF codes for your various modules. Do a little testing now that it's up. Let's force an ID, which is to send the star key.
Open repeater online. Kilo Echo 4 Mike Uniform repeater. The time is 9:10 p.m. Press 0 number sign for help.
Okay, that part works without a problem. Let's use parrot mode, which I've got activated.
Activating parrot.
Parrot mode basically repeats what you say. Okay, let's try the parrot mode. KE4MU testing.
KE4MU testing.
Okay, that seems to be working without any problem. Now we're going to see if Echo Link will work.
Activating Echo Link.
Okay, Echo Link comes up with no problems.
Deactivating Echo Link.
And of course it also has a remote shut on and shut off with DMTF for the controller. Let's see if it's functioning correctly. Okay, let's see if the repeater will key up now. Okay, nothing. So it has turned off the controller. Now let's turn it back on.
Open repeater online. Kilo Echo 4 Mike Uniform repeater.
Okay. The repeater controller is doing beautiful. Welcome to the KE4MU repeater, PL tone 94.8, Asheville, North Carolina.